Everyone, it is 9 o'clock, and it's my privilege to call this meeting to order. The second item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. You please stand, and, I don't know, just do it in, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our resident veteran is not here.
You're speaking of the devil?
Okay.
Just walking in. Speak of the devil.
Ah, well, yeah. You're late.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna go serve Jug. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning. Member Gambrell.
Here.
Member Waterhouse.
Here.
Member Benson. Chairman Ratio.
Here.
Vice Chairman Hershenson.
Here.
Member Galloway.
Here.
Member Nguyen.
Present.
Well, we now have a quorum. In fact, the entire board is here. There is one case we have today. As usual, the public hearings will be held after the presentation. They have case number 26409, Bay Road variance. A variance from LDC 4-1894B, which requires a water body setback of 25 feet along the north side to allow a setback of 15 feet from the abutting north side street right of way for a proposed single-family home on a residential property in Bonita Springs.
Thank you, Chairman Restio. At this time, because this is a quasi-judicial item, I will swear in any witnesses. And
Oh, that's right.
Please raise your right hand and swear or affirm. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Mike Fegon with Community Development for the record. Hope you're all doing well today. I'm going to go and do a brief introduction of this case. We do have representatives for the applicant here. I don't believe they have a formal presentation, but they're here in case you have any questions. This one's pretty straightforward, so hopefully we won't be taking up too much of your time. As you heard in the record there, it's a variance for a setback on the north side of the property. What makes this situation unique and what in staff opinion means that it qualifies for a variance is that on this north side you have a platted right-of-way known as Melody Lane. What you also have on that north side, which is not shown on the plat but was shown in a later survey, is a boat ramp which takes in water. So there's also a mean high water line along that same north side there. So in an instance like that, we have a situation where you have two different standards for what the setback should be. The water body standard says it should be 25 feet away from the mean high water line. The side street setback standard is that it's 15 feet from the edge of the right-of-way. So in that case, you're supposed to take whichever the more restrictive standard is, which in this case would have been a setback of 25 feet. When you do that and when you map it out, which is what they showed you on Exhibit A in your attachment, it significantly eats into a pretty good percentage of the lot in terms of its buildable area. The buildable footprint becomes very incompatible with what's been built around it. So there is a hardship there. And again, this is a platted lot of record, platted back in the 40s. It predates the Lee County zoning regulations of the 60s, which is when they were first established. Obviously, it predates the city. It's an undersized lot, which is shown in your staff report, through no fault of the applicant, but they have to be allowed to have minimum use, and they have to be able to be somewhat compatible with the development patterns around them. That's impossible for them to do if you employ the setbacks as written. So that's why they are here for the reduced setback of 15 feet. I would also note that had that boat ramp not been there, had it just been a right-of-way, the 15 foot that they're asking for is what we would have applied anyway. So it's the advent of also having that boat ramp that sort of messed things up for them going into this. And again, that boat ramp was not platted. When they requested a zoning verification letter years ago, it was not realized that there was a mean high water line there. It was still just shown as a right-of-way. When we realized there was a mean high water line there, was when an additional survey came in that called it out. Then we went out and inspected and saw it, so on and so forth. Here we are. So with that, I can turn it over to the applicant. If you have any questions of them, I can also go through with a brief presentation. I think I just kind of gave you the synopsis overall. I will say they are in agreement with the findings of the staff report, and they do agree to the conditions. They are aware that if they get this variance, this doesn't guarantee a building permit for them. They still need to go through the permitting process and make sure that they can submit plans that meet Florida Building Code and the latest and greatest codes with FEMA as well. And we would go from there. So with that, I can turn it over to them if you have any questions, or it's the board's pleasure.
Any questions? Please, proceed.
Okay, so I'll go through with just a quick presentation here, and we will go from there. So again, we understand what the request is and the specific LDC section from which it is being requested. And just to sort of give a little bit more background, the zoning of the property is a standard single-family residential zoning within the city called RS1. And what you see on your screen there are the minimum requirements for an RS1 lot. An RS1 lot under the city code should be at least 75 feet wide, at least 100 feet deep, and at least 7,500 square feet in area. This lot, as you can see, based on the platted dimensions, doesn't meet any of those standards. It is a significantly undersized lot. And again, this is through no fault of the applicant. It was platted that way back in 1949 and has remained unchanged in terms of its shape. So that's an important part of this. So sort of what I just explained before is that there is a code section in the code right now that would grant relief for that side street setback on the north side, Melody Lane, from 25 feet down to 15 feet because it's such an undersized lot. The reason why we couldn't apply that section without them going through this process is because that exact side also has a water body. So that's why we are here. And again, they are asking for the ability to be able to use the existing code section of a 15-foot setback from the Melody Lane right-of-way, as opposed to a 25-foot setback from, I guess, what I would call the Melody Lane mean high water line, as strange as that sounds. So this is an aerial of the lot, and again, you can see the significantly small size of the lot compared to some of the lots around it, and that is the way it was platted, and you can see where the Melody Lane right-of-way occurs and abuts to this property. What you can also see is that back in 1990, this exact lot received a variance from Lee County at the time. It was for a different set of standards. It was for a water body setback and an interior side setback. But what made this somewhat unique was at that time, and with the site plan that was approved by Lee County, they allowed for a 15-foot setback off of the Melody Lane right-of-way. Okay, and just again, for clarification's sake, that is what they are asking for today. They're not asking for this particular footprint, but they are asking for the city to be able to apply the same setback that would have been approved by Lee County back in 1990 as part of this variance request. That variance request was tied to a very specific footprint of 957 square feet. Again, if you look around of what's been built there today, that is significantly undersized for all the homes around them and relatively incompatible is what I would say. So this 1990 variance, while it was granted, isn't in line with today's development patterns. So they are back for a new request, if you will. And this is an example of the site plan that they are proposing. And what I will note, and what separates this from the 1990 variance, is that they will be meeting all other setback requirements. They will be meeting the water body setback from the rear, arm of Estero Bay. They will be meeting the interior side setback of at least 5 feet. They will be meeting the street setback of at least 25 feet. All they're asking for is the reduction on the north side along Melody Lane, which again would have been 15 feet anyway had that boat ramp not been present. That's what they are requesting today. So with that, we go over the variance criteria. Typically, the way I do this is that if I think it meets the criteria, I write it down in green. If I think there's an issue, I'll flag it in red. As you can see, they're all in green in this case because we feel, based on the variance criteria, the fact that the lot was platted this way, it is traditionally undersized. Lee County looked at similar variances previously. The issues are through no fault of the applicant. we feel that this meets all the standards that are required in your code for approval of this specific variance. And with that, we do recommend approval of the request, subject to the following conditions. This variance is specifically limited just to the north side of the property, and it would be a 15-foot setback from the Melody Lane right-of-way in lieu of the 25-foot water body setback. The development is to be consistent with the site plan, which is Exhibit B in your packet. All other zoning and development regulations will remain in full force and effect. And again, granting this variance does not guarantee approval of the building permit. They still need to go through that permitting process and get approved in conjunction with Florida Building Code, FEMA, so on and so forth. The applicant agreed to all those conditions, so with that, there's no issues between the applicant and staff in terms of how that's worded. If you have any questions, I'm here, and so are representatives of the applicant.
Questions?
No.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. Oh, sorry, one more thing. There was some public feedback that would have been in the online version of your packet, that attachment C. There seems to be a misunderstanding, and so I just want to go and put this on the record. If you approve this variance, it will not hinder access to the boat ramp. Just want to make that clear. There seemed to be some confusion that somehow being allowed to build closer to the boat ramp would hinder access. This plan would not hinder access to the boat ramp.
That's a public boat ramp?
It is.
And what's the property on the other side of Melody Lane? Is that Bonita Boat Rentals?
It's a boat rental, and I think at one time it might have been a small hotel as well.
Got it, I'm good.
Any other questions? At this point, I don't, unless the applicant wishes to make a statement on the record, I think it's time to vote on this. So I think I will entertain a motion to approve the variance according to together with the, excuse me for a minute, it's been so long. Together with the conditions imposed by the city. Would you, Michael, would you please poll?
Yeah, we need a motion and a second.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
second? Lynn, all right, please,
Yes.
poll the board.
Board Member Gambrell.
Aye.
Board Member Waterhouse.
Aye.
Board Member Benson. Yes. Chairman Ratio.
Yes?
Vice Chairman Hershenson.
Yes.
Member Galloway.
Aye.
Member Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, the city clerk will give us an update on previous cases.
Chairman, that takes us to item 5, approval of the meeting minutes from the January
Oh,
14th
that's,
meeting.
well, yeah, but we'll just do that last.
Okay, so you would like an update? We'll ask
Well, yeah, it's on the
Jackie.
agenda, so.
perhaps Jackie or Mike to provide the update on past.
Sure. I believe the last case that came before you was residential plan development for a property on Dean Street that ultimately went to city council. It was denied. They do have the option to come back in and make some changes and likely come back before you, but we're not sure where that stands right now, but it ultimately was denied at city council.
Okay. All right, that takes care of that item. All right, there's a tentative meeting scheduled for June 17th at 9 a.m. I was requested to entertain some comments by the city clerk.
I just have a couple of comments and some updates. Everyone should have received an email from the State Ethics Commission regarding the annual financial disclosure requirement. And if you haven't received it, please check your inbox. If it's not there, check your spam, your junk email for that. In that email, there should be a link that connects you to that page. You must file electronically online. There's also a 1-800 number. If you have problems with passwords accessing the account, they are very helpful. And you can just simply call them and they'll help to reset your password if that's what needs to be done. And if you need any assistance from me, you know I'm always available to help out. And I also wanted to announce that at an upcoming meeting, we're going to have a sunshine law, ethics law update, or not, I'm sorry, not update, just refresher. So we'd like to make this an annual refresher course for all advisory boards of the city. Just very briefly, there'll be, just to refresh everyone's memory on sunshine law, conflicts of interest, ethics. And so if you see two agendas, what I'd like to do is we'll have the regular meeting, and then that meeting will adjourn, and then we'll reconvene for a sunshine review outside of the cameras, so it won't be televised, but it's still a public meeting nonetheless. And that's all I have.
Next item is, I'll entertain a motion to
We-
adjourn.
We still need to approve the meeting minutes from January 14th, 2025.
Yeah,
If there's a motion and a second, and then
yeah, just
quick vote?
make. Motion is made by Ms. Waterhouse, seconded by,
Seconded, Gambrell.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now I can adjourn the meeting.
Yes. Unless-
Thanks, everyone, the presenters, Derek and the board members, and thank you very much, and I'll see you again in June 17th. Thank you. Done.